Hello everyone and welcome back into our latest challenge on this channel. So in this challenge I'm going to be challenging all of the viewers to participate and making their own taxi vehicle. Yes my friends, this is a challenge of making your own taxi vehicle that I'm going to drive in BeamNG.Drive and judge the car, give it some points, and pick up some winners at the end of this challenge. So before we start with all of the rules, I would love to remind you, please, if you enjoyed the video and yeah, if you want to participate with it, of course I'm gonna tell you how. And please remember, if you enjoy it, hit that like button, get subscribed, and share the video if you want to share it. And if you want to participate in this challenge, I'm gonna tell you that at the end of this video. So let's start with all of the rules. We have alright, so if you want to build your own taxi car, if you want to participate in this challenge, the rules are very simple. Taxi cars are very durable, very reliable cars. They want to live forever, they want to drive forever without any kind of overheating, without any kind of expensive repairs. Everything should be plain simple. Alright, so let's start with the body and the chassis. Well, obviously we have seen in the past and currently some amazing taxi cars like the Ford Crown Vic, because it was one of the titans of taxi cars. It was very durable, very reliable, very easy to maintain when it comes to crashes, and it's very safe also. So yeah, we need to make something that is not very similar to it, but in some kind of inspiration of that car and many other taxi cars. So we need only to establish some rules. First of all, we need to keep everything simple. The engineering time should be always simple. So the only three materials for the panel is only regular steel, corrosion resisting steel, and aluminium or aluminum, whatever you want to call it. These three only. Remember, steel, corrosion resisting steel, and aluminium or aluminum. These are the three only allowed materials for the panels. Everything except them is forbidden. Moving on, the chassis type. You can go with monocoque and you can go with ladder. It's up to you. But remember, engineering time and the ease of maintaining a car and fix it when it comes to an after crash fix when everything gets dented. And remember, the ladder chassis is easy to maintain because everything else will be just bolted on into it. It's easy to maintain, it's more durable, more reliable, but it's heavy. You need to remember, it's heavy and it will require very little engineering time. But the monocoque is more safe, less heavy, and of course it will require so much engineering time. So these are the only two options. Choose whatever you want, but remember to keep everything simple. Because at the end of this area, I'm gonna tell you why it's a better option to go with ladder instead of monocoque. Moving on, the chassis materials. Well, if you pick up a ladder, if you chosen ladder, all these materials are allowed, all of them. But remember, advanced high strength steel, it will increase the engineering time so much. So if you want to keep it simple, these are your only three options. If you want to go with super advanced, you can go with this one, but it will increase the engineering time, which will not be in your favor when it comes to judging your car. Moving on, the engine placement, it's up to you. Front suspension in the front and the rear suspension, it's also up to you. All of them are allowed, but remember, you need to keep it simple. I'm not gonna say this word so many times, but you need to keep it simple. So for example, push rods, it will require so much engineering time, same as multi-link, unlike double wishbone or semi-trailing arm or anything else. So yeah, keep it simple. The only +1 quality allowed here is only on the chassis. The chassis only can get +1 quality, but you need to make sure that the total of your production units and engineering time will not exceed the limit that I'm going to tell you about later. So you need to make sure that all of the limitations will not exceed the rules or the limits that I'm going to set for you later. Moving on, the engine. The engine for the taxis, well, it should be very simple, very reliable, very durable, and very economical with great amount of torque. So any engine is allowed. You can choose any inline engine, any V engine, any boxer engine. All of them are allowed. You can pick up a V16, a V12, an inline 4, inline 5, anything. Boxer 4, boxer 6, all of them are allowed. Anything. The material, as always, only aluminium or only aluminum. Only. Remember this. This is the only option. If your engine is made from aluminum, silicon, magnesium, or even cast iron, I'm not going to put your car in the end video. No, only aluminium or aluminum block and cylinder head. The family capacity, this is up to you. Make whatever engine you want. A 15 liter, 1 liter, half a liter, it's up to you. And don't worry, there will be a limit, but not in the capacity, in the weight, because you need to keep your mind your engine weight should never exceed 200 kilograms. Remember that. If you don't know what 200 kilogram is, you can Google 200 kilograms, translate it to pounds or whatever measure you are using. So yeah, your engine should never exceed 200 kilograms. 201 kilogram will not be in the video. It will be disqualified. So you need to remember that. Any kind of head valve, it's up to you. Any kind of valve numbers, it's also up to you. Aluminium or aluminum cylinder heads, this is the only material. Variable valve lift, variable valve timing, these also are up to you. If you want to make your engine more efficient, more reliable, but you need to sacrifice some of the engineering time and production units, because there will be also a limitation on it later at the video. Also, crankshaft, connecting rods, and piston materials, these are also up to you. You can choose whatever you want here. And yes, you can go expensive, but well, you'll be facing the fact that your engine will be, more expensive. It will go over the production units and engineering time limit, which your engine will be disqualified. So you need to keep your mind later. I'm gonna tell you what. These are all of these are your only option. Zero quality on everything. Remember, zero quality on everything. The suspension, the gearbox, everything should be zero quality except the chassis. You can go +1 only on the chassis. All of these are up to you. Turbocharger or naturally aspirated, this is also up to you. Yes, your only option is to go with multi-point EFI. That's it. Only multi-point EFI. No DFI, no SFI, no, nothing. Only multi-point EFI. That's it. And also a single throttle body only. Standard intake manifold only. And regular 95 and regular 91 octane fuel only. These are you should never exceed these rules or these limitations. Multi-point, single, standard, 91. Yes, don't exceed those. Fuel mixture, ignition timing, and RPM limit, these up to you. These are up to you. You can pick whatever you want. Here's zero quality, remember that. The exhaust system. If you are building like a V engine, you can go with dual or single exhaust pipe. It's up to you. You can choose no valves or with bypass valves. It's up to you also. Any exhaust size, but remember, keep it simple. Don't give me like a 5-inch exhaust diameter, because it will not be a real engine. I'm not gonna accept it. But a maximum of 3 inches or 3.5 inches, is very acceptable. But more than 3.5 inches, it will be like it will give you less judging points at the end, because your exhaust will not be realistic. Catalytic converter, you can choose 2-way or 3-way. That's it. High flow 3-way is forbidden, and running without a catalytic converter it's also super forbidden. So this is no, this is no, these two are allowed. Mufflers, well, you can pick up any muffler you want, but don't choose none. None is forbidden. You can pick up any muffler you want. Yes, it's allowed, but none is not an option. Zero quality also. Moving on, the limitations, as I mentioned, only 200 kilograms at your engine. Your engine should never exceed 200 kilograms of weight. Also, the production unit, as I mentioned, should never exceed 50 points on the production units, and never should exceed 40 on the engineering time. I know I could have made my engine more expensive and everything else, but no, because the material cost should never exceed $1,350. Remember that, $1,350. I'm not gonna write everything in the description because it will be very long, and I really don't have so much time to write everything down below. So please, here, if you have like a pencil or a pen with a paper, you can write the most important notes. So your engine should never exceed $1,350, never exceed 50 points on the production units, and never exceed 40 on the engineering time, and never exceed 200 kilograms. Remember that. I know these are a lot of rules, but if you want to participate and if you want to make a perfect taxi car, yeah, you should remember to keep the budget and keep the weight of the engine in limits. Reliability, well, the higher you go with reliability, the better. Of course, the fuel economy should be more than 25%. More than 25 is acceptable. More than 30 is very good. Yeah, and more than 34, more than 35, it will be excellent. As I mentioned, the only fuel allowed is 91 octane fuel. The emissions, well, the lower the better, but don't give me like an engine with super high emissions like 80 or 90. No, keep it like 60, 50, 40 and below. Well, 70 is acceptable. Below or more than 70, it will be like a big no-no. Smoothness, well, the more the better. Throttle response, well, no one cares here. The noise, remember, your exhaust system should never exceed 30 points. The lower, that means the quieter the engine. I want a quiet engine, not a loud sporty engine. The quieter the better. Power should not exceed 300 horsepower, and the torque, well, should not also exceed 300 pound-feet of torque. So below 300 on both should be plain simple, because a taxi car, it's not a sports car. This car will only drive in the city on highways. That's it. It will not go racing. That's why less than 300 would be perfect. Well, RPM limit, it's up to you because it's your own engine. Well, what are you seeing here is a basic 3.3 liter inline 6 engine, turbocharged, making 34.4% of fuel efficiency, running very perfect. But let me show you something. The graph. This is super efficient and super important to make. If you are building a turbocharger, please make sure your turbo is spinning very early. As you can see, my turbo is spinning at 1,300 RPM, and the turbo is running very efficiently, or whatever the word is, at 1,600 RPM. 1,600 RPM, my turbo is running perfectly. So you need to keep your mind to make your turbo to spool very early, because as a taxi driver, the car will be driven, as a taxi car, the car will be driven on very low RPM, like below 2,000 RPM usually. Yeah, so the turbo should be spooling at this point here to give very good amount of torque and power. Moving on. The car, well, the car should be a sedan, of course, because it's a taxi car. It should be a sedan only. Don't give me a hatchback or a van or a pickup truck or anything else. No, this is a taxi car or a cab. Yeah, so it should be only a sedan. I know, in the UK they are using, like, I don't know, a van or something, the London taxi. But no, I want to make a taxi car that any country would be more than happy to use as their own taxi. Very economical, powerful, torquey, safe, and good to drive. Zero quality on everything. Moving on, the color of the car should be yellow. Not because it's like a New York taxi. I know that a lot of countries are using like white cabs or blue, black, whatever color, but a yellow, it will always give a symbol of a taxi car. Yeah, so yeah, be creative and give me a yellow cab, a yellow taxi. So alright, moving on. The fixtures, my friend, the fixtures will be simple, beautiful, but not very sporty, because this car should be easy to maintain. It should never be an expensive car. Like, don't put a lot of details. For example, keep your bumpers clean, simple. Let me give you an example. Look at the rear bumper. Only the exhaust pipes coming out of it, but nothing else is on it. So this bumper, if there was an accident or something, if you want to replace the bumper, it will be easy cheap to maintain and cheap to replace because just a plastic bumper, nothing else, no fixtures on it. The tail lights, the headlights, the same idea. And please make sure that you don't forget any fixtures like the fuel filler cap, the trunk release, or the if you want to put a keyhole on the trunk to keep it simple, because this is a simple taxi car. Also a keyhole on the front driver, and passenger door handles. There should be also a keyhole here because this car will have a normal key, not a key fob, a normal key because it's a normal car. Also the rims, don't give me like racing rims, keep it simple. Indicators on the sides, very nice side mirrors, of course an antenna on the roof. Yeah, very simple, keep it simple. Of course the design and the style is up to you, but keep it simple. Moving on, the drive type. Well, any drive type is allowed. You can choose rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, or all-wheel drive, but no, this 4x4, well, this is for SUVs and off-roaders, this is not allowed. But these three, choose anyone you want. Gearboxes, only, remember, only advanced automatic gearbox only. Ratios, it's up to you, any ratio you want. You can go with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, any ratio you want. And remember please, the production unit, it's 2018, don't go over or below 2018, it's only 2018. Spacing, final drive, this is up to you. Differentials, my friends, because we are using a taxi car, you don't have to use gear limited step differential or any kind of LSD, because this car will be driven in the city. So open differential is the only option. If you want to go with gear limited step differential or vicious limited step differential, it's up to you, but remember you have a limit on production units and engineering time also at the end of the car. So before you jump ahead and choose a differential, I'm gonna tell you your limitations at the testing area, but not yet. Zero quality, remember, on anything and everything. You have to choose radial, hard, long life tires only, because this is a taxi car and the tires should live, I think, forever. That's how the taxi driver wants. They don't want to replace them very often because they are expensive, so hard, long life tires is your only option. Tire width, size, rims, everything is your only option except rim material. You have to use steel only, steel rims, because they are very durable and then they are not expensive to replace, so steel is your only rim material. Zero quality also. Moving on, discs, well, sorry, brakes, you can use any option you want except carbon ceramic, because this is a very expensive option. Carbon ceramic is not allowed, but everything else is allowed. Also, please remember, I don't want any brake fade. Put it on 0%, no brake fade whatsoever. Also, yes, remember to balance your brakes. Keep balancing them until you reach a perfect amount of brakes. Let me remind the game. Alright, moving on. As I mentioned before, this is your own option here. Choose whatever you want. Yeah, of course, the quickest from 0 to 100 is the better, of course. So yeah, keep in mind all of these. Under tray. Alright, let me give you a quick tip here. Because we are building a taxi car, this car will be maintained, frequently or not frequently. Like when this car will be maintained, it should be easy. It should never be expensive or hard or require a very heavy trained mechanic engineering. No, this car will be maintained at any service place, any service station, wherever, because it's very simple. Why? Because we are not using any under tray. If you press this button here, you will read that they will be choosing a non-under tray option will, where is it, reducing top to half? No, not this. Yes, it will be like this. Simplifies assembly as well as making mechanical components easier to access for servicing and repair. Yes, so choosing the non option, it's your best friend here. Not because I know, of course, choosing a semi-clad will will give more mileage for the car, more fuel mileage, but a non option is the best here to keep the maintaining and repairing the car more easy, and that's what I want, because the Crown Vic has no under tray. You can access anything from down below, from below the car, and that's the whole reason I think it kept it very easy to and very how can I say it in English, very available till this day. You can see a lot of Crown Vics running even to this day, although the production stopped at 2011 for the Crown Vic, but you can see a lot of Crown Vics as cop cars and as taxi cars these days in 2018 and coming into 2019, 7 years after the production unit stopped, because it's a very durable and reliable car. It's very easy to maintain. That's why I want you to keep your car very easy to maintain by choosing no under tray. Cooling flaps, of course, none, because it will require so much material cost and, well, some engineering time, so none. Well, the engine cooling airflow, of course, the higher you go, the better, because the engine will get more cooled. You will not have any overheating problem, but the top speed will be reduced, so find your own silver lining. Brake airflow should be always on 100. Remember this, always 100. Zero quality here. Moving on, as a taxi car, this car should have, or as a cab car should have, 5 seats, a bench on the rear and 2 seats at the front, driver, passenger, and of course a bench on the rear for the rear passengers. So your only option is to have 3 on the rear and 2 at the front. The interior, well, your only 2 options are basic and standard. Basic is a very good option. It's very reliable. It's very easy and cheap to clean and to maintain and even to replace, but it will reduce the comfort of the car so much. Yeah, and I don't want that. If you want, you can do like me, which is choosing a standard interior, which is more comfortable. It's still not bad. You can have it made by cloth and a little bit extra padding and a better carpet, a better everything else, better than basic by a long mile. And also you can go with basic infotainment system, which is like 4 normal speakers and a regular CD player, FM, satellite radio, and auxiliary input. So it's a good stereo. It's not a bad stereo. So you can go like this. You can go basic interior, basic infotainment system. You can go standard. You can mix and match. It's up to you. But the only options are basic, standard, basic, standard. But please don't go with non-entertainment, because, well, this is a good car. You can't just sell it to people without any kind of stereo. This is not allowed. Zero quality. Power steering, you can go with hydraulic or variable hydraulic. It's up to you. Traction control, ABS, well, these are you should have those, because the government will not allow any car these days to be sold without traction control and ABS. So yes, this is your only option here. Yeah, that's your only option. Safety, well, it's up to you. Of course, the more safety equipments, the better for your car, the more safer your car is. But remember, it will be like extra heavy. Yes, and a heavy car will be slow. The suspension will have to deal with more weight on top of it. Yes, so it will ruin everything else, but it will keep your car safe. So it's your only option. Not your only option. It's your own option to choose whatever you want here. You need to find the silver lining between, weight, performance, and safety. So I went with standard 10s because it seems in the middle. Zero quality, also remember that. The springs, dampers, and sway bars. Sway bars and dampers. These are your own option. You can choose whatever you want. Springs are only standard and progressive. Don't go. All of these 4 are not allowed. These are the only 2 options that you should go with. Suspension tune and ride height, it's up to you, but remember the max load capacity should never be less than 500 kilograms. Remember that. Less than 500 kilograms, your car will be disqualified. More than 500, I'm gonna accept your car, because more than 500 kilograms seems, well, it's gonna seem appropriate, but less than 500 kilograms, yeah, I'm not gonna accept it. Zero quality also here. And this is the final production, or this is the final thing that we were gonna talk about, which is this area, the testing area. Well, first of all, your limitations are for choosing any parts that I've told you about. Any parts I've told you about. Your limit of choosing any of them is the production unit and the engineering time. The production unit should never ever exceed 85. Remember that. Your production units for the whole car should never exceed 85, and the engineering time should never exceed 25. 85, 25. Don't go over those limits. The fuel economy, as I mentioned when we were talking about the engine, should never ever be below 25 miles per gallon, because basically no one will buy it. At 25 miles per gallon taxi car, no one will buy it. So your car, the total MPG for the total car should never go below 30 MPG. Remember that. Less than 30, I'm not gonna accept it. More than 30 miles per gallon, you will be in the green zone. Emissions, well, the lower you go, the better. Octane will be always on 91. Your car should be very practical, has very nice utility points, should be very reliable, more than 70 points, remember that. Should be very drivable. Well, don't go with zero sportiness, give me 15, 16, or even I can accept 10 points, but less than 10, no. The higher comfort, the better. Prestige, well, I don't care about it because it's a taxi car. Safety, well, the higher the better. Don't go below 35. So yeah, watch the video when you are building your own car. Remember this: if you want to follow all the rules, and while you are building your own car, just play the video on your mobile phone. Yep, and make the car on your computer. This way you can listen to all of the rules and then make your own car perfect. Now the material cost, or the total cost of the car with 10% margin. Remember this: put your margin on 10% and make sure your car costs below $20,000. $20,000 is acceptable, but more than 20,000, no. Less than 20 grand. Yeah, this way any taxi depot will buy it. So that's pretty much it. The weight, well, don't make your car heavy. I mean, more than 2 tons is too much. Less than 2 tons will be more preferable. And load capacity, as I mentioned, less than 500 is no. More than 500 is perfect. Aerodynamics, don't care. No brake fading whatsoever. Roll angle, also don't care about it. Top speed, well, it's up to you. 0 to 100 time, the quickest the better. These three, I don't care about them. So that's pretty much it. A yellow cab with those rules will be pretty much perfect. And the winner, of course, I'm gonna pick his car or her car, and her name or his name will be written in the credits of the video. And I'm gonna pick a gold, Mr. Gold or Mrs. Gold. The same for silver and bronze, and then a 4th place and a 5th place. So thank you so much for watching. This has been the taxi challenge rules video. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I really cannot wait to start seeing your own creations sent to me. So if you want to participate in the channel, in this challenge, make sure that you have followed all the rules. Don't worry, take your time, because where's my mobile? So the deadline for the video today is Saturday, 11 August. So alright. So the deadline for the video will be Monday. Will be Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Well, let's make it Tuesday. Alright, so Tuesday, same time as right now, 6 p.m. According to my local time, which is +3 GMT. So remember, the deadline is Tuesday, 6 p.m. Yes, my friends, 6 p.m. +3 GMT time. Yes, make sure that the time that I've told you about, to collaborate your time with this time, which is +3 GMT, 6 p.m. Yeah, so make your car and then export your car doing it like this. Go to the summary and press the export car to BeamNG.Drive. press this button here, so you can export your car as a BeamNG.Drive file. So if you already have the game, you can drive your car and you know, enjoy it. Just export it. It will start to export, and then when it finishes, you can send me the BeamNG.Drive file, which is a WinRAR file. You can find it in your documents. This is the first file to send me, and the second file, which is the .car file, you press this button here, it will give you this message, which will, the file that I want is this, the .car file. So send me both files, because sometimes the .car file will not work. Sometimes this file will not export correctly to BeamNG.Drive. So this way I can look at the car and automation game, and then because you've sent me the second file, I can also load it into BeamNG.Drive and drive it also. So that's pretty much it. If you want to participate, you know, export those two files and send them to me on my email, which is lordbas94@gmail.com, lordbas94@gmail.com. Just send me those two files, and you know, write your name, write whatever note you want to send, and that's pretty much it. You are in the challenge. And after 6 p.m. at Tuesday +3 GMT time, I'm gonna start to, you know, get all of the files from my email and put them in the game and start, you know, testing and checking out what you have sent me. So that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I cannot wait to see your own amazing creations. And that's pretty much it. So hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, get subscribed, share the video if you want to share it, although I don't know why you want to share it, but yeah, that's all. So thank you so much, and you know, start making cars, get creative, and don't go over the limits. And goodbye for now, my friends.